Heartened to see the first pictures of Graham Lee over the last couple of days, folks. You may have seen it yourself. That's the fantastic young Irish, or well, relatively young Irish jockey that got very, very badly injured. Was it at Newcastle? It may not have been. I'm not sure where it was. It was an all-weather meeting a couple of months ago now, before Christmas time. We knew he was bad. He was rushed to hospital. We feared the worst, and the worst indeed did happen. I mean, it wasn't death, but it was probably the next step down. He's been really badly paralysed, and I mean badly. There's pictures there over the last couple of days in a wheelchair. It's the first that I've seen of him, with Henrietta Knight. I think old Hen has been to visit him in and around hospital, and he's there in the wheelchair, and he looked well. He looked really well considering, but we'd always assumed he's going to be paralysed. They'd said life-changing injuries. They never exactly said what they were, although they said it was to do with the spine. I'd never read anywhere that he would definitely never walk again, but reading between the lines, that was going to be the case. And I think Hen said it was great to see him. His spirits are fantastic. It's a shame that he's only got movements, I think she said, in his neck and head. So it's obviously even worse than I thought. I think in the picture he had his hands on a pillow, I think, if memory serves, across the front of his wheelchair. And I thought maybe he's okay from the waist up, but it seems it's not. It's only from the neck up, which is really unfortunate. And great guy. I liked him as a jockey. I followed him a lot on the flats, your Hamiltons and your Musselburghs and whatever else, and he did reasonably well for me. And because he wasn't the most fashionable jockey in the world, you'd always get a good price. You know, your 5, 6, 8, 10 to 1s. He'd stay them home with regularity with Graham. I liked him, you know, all action. He really went for it in the finish. I liked him. And it's a great shame. I believe he's been fantastic throughout his injury and his recuperation. I believe he's shown great guts, great fortitude, but reading between the lines and listening to what many people say about him, those that knew him, they say that they'd expect nothing else from him. He brought out a side of Tony McCoy we've never really seen before a few weeks ago, and that was to McCoy's credit, for all he was embarrassed by it all. But no, it's a sad story, a really, really sad story, but it was great to see him, and I believe through his daughter saying the amount of people that have followed him and come to visit him from the horsing fraternity is unbelievable. He didn't realise how much love he had there until he's taken ill. She said, and we can't keep them away. There's people visiting all the time. Anyway, very, very sad, but in its own way uplifting. I mean, I believe Graham's talking about doing a marathon in his wheelchair as he recuperates and gets better, to shine a light on what the Injured Jockeys Fund does for jockeys, because they've done a hell of a lot for him already, and he wants to help them all he can, which again says a lot about the guy. Anyway, it was nice to see him in the press. I hope we see more of him. I hope we hear from him in time. I liked him a lot, and it's a great shame. I think I think Mandy said only yesterday to me, it's a shame about what happened with that horse over the weekend, the Paul Nicholls horse. I can't remember his name now, but you know which one I mean. The favourite yesterday in the was it a 2-mile chase? I think it was. Came down at second last, and unfortunately hurt himself that badly, had to put it down. And as I said at the time, yeah, it's awful what some horses suffer for our enjoyment, because let's face it, they give us lots of enjoyment. I said, but we can comfort ourselves with the fact that we do know that while they're alive, they get absolutely the best of treatment, and they really do. You know, better than any other horse that you'll find in fields throughout the country that isn't a racehorse. They get looked after really well, they're treated like kings. But that said, sometimes they do pay the ultimate price. And on the flip side of that, sometimes jockeys do too. Graham hasn't paid the ultimate, he's still with us, but jockeys have died through the ages, so I do suppose, I mean, his fall was that horrendous, I do suppose it could have been worse. At least he's still around, his family still have him, and obviously he still has them. Anyway, I hope he improves as much as he possibly can, and I've got nothing but good wishes for Graham Lee. I liked him a lot, as I've said already on this little transmission.